we've carried in our hands and pockets. Today's journey takes us deep into the story of a coin that isn't just metal, but memory, emotion, and legacy. The 1964 Kennedy half dollar is not only one of the most iconic American coins ever minted, but also a symbol of national mourning, unity, and change. It tells the story of a fallen president, a grieving nation, and a mint system that had to adapt in the face of overwhelming demand. It is the first and last of its kind, and its story is as powerful as the man whose image it carries. Full script, long-form history. In early 1964, the United States was still reeling from the shocking assassination of President John F. Kennedy, who had been killed in Dallas, Texas, on November 22, 1963. The loss was fresh, the country was shaken, and the need to honor his memory became a national priority. Only days after his death, discussions began within the U.S. Mint, the Treasury, and the Kennedy family about how to best memorialize the late president. There had been precedents before, such as placing Abraham Lincoln on the penny in 1909 and Franklin D. Roosevelt on the dime in 1946 after his death. It was decided that Kennedy's likeness would be best honored on the half dollar, which at the time featured Benjamin Franklin. The Franklin half dollar had only been in production since 1948, but due to the overwhelming emotional response and demand for a Kennedy memorial, the change was swiftly approved by Congress. The design process was initiated almost immediately and was led by Chief Engraver of the U.S., Mint Gilroy Roberts, who designed the obverse of the coin, and Frank Gasparro, who designed the reverse. Roberts had previously created the profile of Kennedy used for the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and with the approval of the Kennedy family, that same design was adapted for the obverse of the coin. The reverse of the half dollar featured the presidential seal with the American eagle and shield, a ring of stars, and the motto, E pluribus unum. The 1964 Kennedy half dollar was struck in 90% silver and 10% copper, making it the last regularly circulating half dollar to contain such a high silver content. Later issues from 1965 onward would be reduced to 40% silver and eventually transition to a clad composition without silver. The 1964 coin was originally intended as a circulating coin, but it quickly became a collector's item due to the immense public demand fueled by a mixture of patriotism, mourning, and the desire to preserve a memory of the young president. In total, over 400 million 1964 Kennedy half dollars were minted across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with Philadelphia coins bearing no mint mark and Denver coins bearing a small D beneath Kennedy's neck. These were the highest mintages ever recorded for a half dollar up to that point, but despite the large numbers, the coin was rarely seen in circulation. Most Americans saved their, in total, over 400 million 1964 Kennedy half dollars were minted across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with Philadelphia coins bearing no mint mark and Denver coins bearing a small D beneath Kennedy's neck. These were the highest mintages ever recorded for a half dollar up to that point, but despite the large numbers, the coin was rarely seen in circulation. Most Americans saved their Kennedy halves, hoarding them as keepsakes or giving them as gifts, particularly to younger generations. The result was a coin struck for use, but absorbed into personal collections, homes, and bank vaults across the country. The coin became not just currency, but a symbol, a representation of American identity, pride, and grief. The 1964 Kennedy half dollar took on a ceremonial role. It was often used in commemorative displays, patriotic collections, and in some cases as jewelry and decorative items. Its presence in American households became almost universal during the 1960s and 70s, with many people keeping a few in their dresser drawer or jewelry box. Numismatically, the coin holds several points of interest beyond its silver content and emotional significance. There are proof issues that were struck for collectors in specially prepared sets. The 1964 proof Kennedy half dollars were produced at the Philadelphia Mint and have mirror-like surfaces with strong details, particularly in the hair of Kennedy. The highest quality examples are graded Deep Cameo or Ultra Cameo by grading services, and these bring premium prices today depending on their condition and preservation. Another variety of great interest to collectors is the 1964 SMS or Special Mint Set issue. These were not publicly released, but a small number of coins believed to have been specially struck for internal purposes, or VIPs, have surfaced and are highly prized. They have sharper strikes than regular circulation strikes but lack the mirror surfaces of proofs. Their mysterious origin continues to be the subject of debate and adds a layer of intrigue to the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar series. Also of note are errors and die varieties that have been discovered over the years, such as double die obverses and repunched mint marks. These varieties add to the appeal for numismatists who seek both historical significance and rarity in their collections. As silver prices began to rise in the late 1960s and early 1970s, the silver content of the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar became a secondary reason for its removal from circulation. Hoarders and investors recognized its value not just as a piece of history but as a tangible asset. As time moved on and clad coinage became the standard, the 1964 silver Kennedy half-dollar took on a new role in the coin collecting community. It became a gateway coin for new collectors, an item often passed down from a parent or grandparent, and the start of a deeper appreciation for American coinage. Silver prices began to rise in the late 1960s and early 1970s. As the silver content of the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar became a secondary reason for its removal from circulation. Hoarders and investors recognized its value not just as a piece of history but as a tangible asset. As time moved on and clad coinage became the standard, the 1964 silver Kennedy half-dollar took on a new role in the coin collecting community. It became a gateway coin for new collectors, an item often passed down from a parent or grandparent, and the start of a deeper appreciation for American coinage. In modern times, the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar remains one of the most recognizable coins among Americans, even those who are not avid collectors. Its continued demand in the collector market keeps it relevant, and its silver content gives it intrinsic value beyond face. The coin appears regularly in estate collections, coin shops, and online marketplaces, and it still sparks memories of a specific moment in American history. The legacy of this coin is inseparable from the legacy of John F. Kennedy himself. It reminds us of a hopeful era abruptly ended, of youthful energy frozen in time, and of a country trying to move forward while honoring its past. Every time you hold a 1964 Kennedy half-dollar, you're holding a piece of that legacy, a reminder of what was lost and what endured. It's more than metal, it's memory, it's meaning. It's a connection to a time when the nation came together in sorrow and pride. From the initial design decisions to the record-breaking mintage from the collector, craze to the lasting emotional value, the story of the 1964 Kennedy half-dollar is one that stretches far beyond its edges. It is a coin that shaped and reflected a nation's identity. It is one of the few coins that almost every American recognizes and respects, and it will continue to be a timeless piece of American history for generations to come.